Hello students, want to know how bank grows your money or why loans cost more the longer you take to pay? Today we will master simple and compound interest in 10 to 15 minutes with real life examples and tricks to solve it easily and quickly. So let's begin our day 14 challenge, which is simple and compound interest. If you have not done any of our previous day challenges, then please go back to the previous videos, complete the problems, and then you can start here. Now, coming to the simple and compound interest. What is interest? Say, for example, if you are lending money to someone else, then you cannot give it for free, right? So what do? You charge extra amount for giving them to use for their own purpose for a certain period of time. They can't take it easily from you, right? So you charge some extra amount for them to use your money. That extra amount is nothing but interest. So whenever you lend money to bank or someone else, then you earn interest. So where it is used in our real life? It is used in banks, say for example getting loans or fixed deposits or credit cards, that is used for shopping or saving accounts or business investments and much more. To be simple, everywhere you deal with money, you see simple or compound interest in it. So what is the purpose of knowing this? To know how much exactly or how much extra you pay or you earn over a period of time whenever you borrow or invest money. So it's a must know topic for everybody in their life. So let's understand the key terms that are involved in simple and compound interest. The very first thing is principal or the sum, which is the money, initial money that has been borrowed from an individual or from an agency or from a bank for a certain period of time. The next is the amount, which is the principal and the interest together, which we are going to get at the end or which we are going to give at the end, is nothing but the amount. So amount is nothing but your principal, initial principal, plus the interest that you are going to pay. Rate of interest is nothing but the rate for which you are going to pay the interest. Say for example, if you are getting 100 and if you are going to pay 10% interest, that means 10% of 100, which is 10. So that is your rate of interest per annum. So let's first understand what is simple interest. In simple interest, the interest is always calculated on the original amount, that is the initial amount that we are giving or getting. So that's simple interest. The interest is always on the original amount. So how do we calculate this? It is calculated with a simple formula, which is PTR by 100. P is nothing but your principal, T is time, and R is your rate of interest. Say for example, if I am getting 100 rupees for a rate of 10% for a period of 1 year, then at the end of 1 year, I have to pay this 10% interest, which is 10 rupees, plus my 100 rupees, which I got initially. If I want to pay at the end of 2 years, that is the second year, then I have to add another 10. For that year, I have to pay another extra 10, which is now 20 plus 100. Now, if I want to pay at the end of 3 years, then it is 30 plus 100. That's it. Simple. So the interest is always going to be the same and it is always calculated on the principal amount, initial principal amount. So once we get the simple interest, we can find how much amount we have to pay at the end of certain period, which is principal. Say for example, in this case, I got 100 and the simple interest is 10. So totally 100 plus 10 is my final amount that I have to pay. So the final amount that we have to pay is nothing but your principal plus the simple interest. If you can substitute in the formula, principal plus your simple interest, or together, if you combine, P times 1 plus RT by 100. This is simple interest. Very simple, very easy. for you to understand. So once you know this simple formula PRT by 100, then you can solve any problem. Now understand this better with an example. Find the simple interest on rupees 7,300 at 15% per annum from April 28 to November 4. So as you can note here, this is your principal. Let's decode it one by one. And this is your rate, but rate per annum. And here, instead of giving the time t in years, they have mentioned the dates, 28th, April 28th to November 4th. So don't get confused or don't get panicked. Just convert it to days first. So how many days you will get in this period? It's almost 190 days. So convert these days to years. How do you do that? Divide it. Divide by 365. You get it in years. So now we have PRT. Everything is set. Now go for finding the simple interest, which is simple interest is PRT by 100. So which is 7,300 times your R 50 times 190 by 365, and the denominator we already have 100. So let's cancel out these two zeros. So this is 7, 3. So this is 3 times, and this is again 1 time. This is 110. So 19 times 3 times 10, which is rupees 570. So simple interest is 570 rupees. This is as simple as that. Once you know the formula, try to bring everything in the standard form and solve it. Right? Now let's go into the compound interest. If the interest is added to the amount, the principal amount every year, or for the second year, the amount that we got at the first year will be your new amount. So interest will be added or to your amount every year, and the new interest is on the new amount. So every year the amount or the principal is going to change. Say for example, if 100 is my initial amount, the principal. Now rate of interest is 10%. At the end of 1 year, I'll get 10 rupees as my interest. So the final amount is 110. Now for the second year, this P, which is the principal plus the interest that I got at the end of first year, will be my new principal. The amount which I got in the previous year will be my new principal, and for this again I will be adding the rate of interest and I will be calculating. So every year the amount will become my new principal. So this is compound. The amount compounds every year. So how do we calculate this? With the help of a formula. Amount equals to, note here we are getting the formula for the amount that we are getting at the end of every term. Whereas in simple interest, we are using the formula to find the simple interest itself. Then we add it to the principal to get your final amount. Whereas compound interest, we use the formula to find the amount that has been compounded. Okay. So once we get the final amount, because this amount is going to change for every year. So the final amount that we are getting will be calculated using this formula. And from that, we are calculating the compound interest, which is the final amount minus the initial amount that you have borrowed or lended will give you the compound interest. I hope you are clear with it. Here we are calculating the amount using the formula. Okay. So here P is nothing but your principal, as it is. R is your rate of interest per conversion period. What is this conversion period? It's the number of conversion happening, or the number of times the interest is compounded. In simple interest, we simply call it as time, whereas we call here as conversion period. So let's understand conversion period first and then come to the formula again. So conversion period is nothing but the time period after which the interest is added each time to get your new principal. So how many times your amount has been compounded is nothing but conversion period. So coming to the formula again, amount equals to principal times 1 plus R by 100 to the power of n. So no need to memorize this formula, because once you know this, get the value, then substitute in this. Amount minus principal gives you your compound interest. So you can use this in two different steps rather than going for one single step. If you're clear with it, obviously you can use it as well, right? The step-by-step explanation of how you got this formula is also important, which I have attached in the description below. Do check it out and understand how you got this formula. Then you will never forget this formula. I hope you click on the description and get your copy of the step-by-step process of this compound interest. So now coming to the next one that you may ask is, why this works? Why I need to go for compound interest? Because this is this complex. You may think, here is the purpose. If you see in compound interest, every year the interest is added to the principal again, and the next year you get a new different principal. So your principal is growing bigger every year. So the growth here is exponential rather than linear. So the amount that is compounded will be more than your simple interest. That's why people go for compound interest. So in order to grow your money, you should know the compound interest and how to apply it and find it. So let's discuss this with an interesting problem for you to understand better. A person borrows a sum, principal is given 8,000 at the rate of 10% per annum rate, and compounded semi-annually. It is not compounded at the end of 1 year. Semi-annually is nothing but half yearly. How many 6 months? Half yearly is nothing but 6 months. How many 6 months you get in a year? 2 6 months. 2 times you get. So you need to remember this. Whenever it is given semi-annually, the rate will first of all decrease by 2. Decrease by 2 in the sense you have to divide the rate by 2. So 10 by 2, which is 5%. Okay. And how many conversion period you are getting? N is 2. Because in 1 year you are getting 2 conversion. One at the end of 6 months and another at the end of 12 months. So 2 conversions are happening. So N equals to 2. So now go to the formula. We know that the formula is for amount only. So P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power of N, which is your conversion period. So P is 8,000 times 1 plus R is 5 now, no longer 10 to the power of 2. So when we solve this, 8,000 plus, multiplied with 105 by 100 times 105 by 100, the whole square. Oh, sorry, I have applied the 105 by 100 2 times, so it's simply this. So let's solve this. This 2 zeros will get cancelled with this, and 1 0 1 0. So it is 8 times 105 times 105, which is rupees. When you calculate this, you get 8,820. So now we got the final amount using our formula. Now go for finding the compound interest, which is our final amount minus your principal, which is rupees 820, is your amount that is compounded semi-annually. So the compound interest for a period of 1 year is 820. So once you understand the concept and once you understand how you get that formula, how the conversions are happening, compound interest is very easy, right? So there are few more things as well. So before we go into that, let's quickly understand the trick or the pattern that you need to know for sure. It's simple interest means simple, same every year. Whereas compound interest compounds, which means the money grows faster. Simple interest means flat. Compound interest means faster growth. You understand the concept clearly now, right? The few things that you have to note here are, Whenever they say the interest is compounded annually, it means compound interest, right? But at the end of 1 year, at the end of the first year, both the simple interest as well as the compound interest will be equal. Why? Because we haven't compounded it. We have got the interest, and the interest plus your initial principal will give you the final amount. For the next year only, we are going to take the new principal, which is the amount, is your new principal. So at the end of the first year, the amount has not increased. So and simple interest will be equal to your compound interest. Both will be same. Only at the second year, the amount compounds, the money compounds, grows. Okay. And the next important thing that you have to notice, the interest may not be compounded annually. Every time it may not be annually. Sometimes you get semi-annually, which is a half yearly, 2 times a year. Sometimes it is quarterly, which means 4 times a year. And sometimes it can be monthly also. Monthly it compounds, which means 12 times a year. So whenever you get this semi-annually, quarterly, you have to pay much more attention. Why? Because whenever it says a half yearly or semi-annually, R will be divided by 2 because rate of interest is per annum, which means per year. Since we are calculating half yearly, you have to divide that rate by 2. Whenever you divide rate by 2, T will also be multiplied by T. Here is nothing but your conversion period N. Because in 1 year, you are getting 2 half yearlies. So N should be 2. If they say quarterly, then R should be divided by 4 and N should be multiplied by 4. Always remember this. Many kids go wrong in this step. Okay. So to twist the question, they may put the trick in this word annually, half yearly and quarterly. So pay attention to what has been given. Right. And now, next is, let's quickly summarize the simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest means interest on the principal. Compound interest means interest on the principal as well as interest on the interest that has been compounded. So this is what you have to remember always. Now, there is little more extension to this. One is your growth, other one is your depreciation. Sometimes they will ask you to find how much is the growth in population, how much is the increase in the cost of goods, otherwise decrease in the quantity of mineral deposits, where the rate of interest is compounded. Okay, the word compound. So in certain cases, you will be asked with these. Remember, this is also a compound interest type only. Okay, so it can be growth or appreciation. The other one is depreciation. Growth or appreciation means the value increases from the original principal, whereas depreciation means the value decreases from the original principal. Okay, so growth means appreciation. The formula for the value after appreciation is same as your compound interest formula. Okay, P is your principal, R is your rate of growth, and N is the time period. Okay, and depreciation, just the same formula, but only thing you have to change here is minus. Depreciation is P times 1 minus R by 100 to the power of N. So since appreciation is more than your principal, if they ask you appreciation, this is the final amount that you are getting. Okay, this formula is for the amount all the time. So when they say appreciation alone, it's amount minus whatever the value you got out of that formula, that value minus your principal. Depreciation, the principal minus your depreciation value. Okay, so sometimes you may get this. So I hope you are clear with both appreciation as well as the depreciation. Right, now here is the challenge for you. Challenge number 14. Find the sum to be invested. So to be invested, which means they are asking you the principal. So find the amount to be invested to earn a simple interest. Here simple interest is given, which is rupees 360 in 8 months at the rate of 15% per annum. Very simple. Substitute in the formula. Here we are going to find P. Okay. The next one, if P is rupees 2,500 and R is 20% per annum, then in what time will it amount to rupees 3,600 at compound interest? So this is also very simple. Only thing you have to find the time here. I hope you found this lesson valuable, and in order for you to get more practice, I have attached a worksheet on simple interest and compound interest. Do check it out in the description below. And also I have attached the step-by-step process to get the compound interest formula in the description below. Please refer it if you don't understand how you got the compound interest formula. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next interesting lesson. If you liked this lesson and if you think that compound interest and simple interest made easy now, then click on the like button and subscribe for more such valuable math videos. See you.